Have you ever felt lost, stuck in a rut, or just overwhelmed by the chaos of modern life? It's easy to feel that way. We're constantly bombarded with information, pressure, and expectations. But what if I told you that the key to finding clarity and inner peace has been around for thousands of years? The ancient philosophers weren't just thinkers, they were masters of living. They left behind a treasure trove of wisdom in the form of simple, yet profound stories. These aren't just old tales. They are practical tools designed to help us navigate the complexities of our own minds and the world around us. Today, we're going to explore 4 of these powerful philosophical stories. Each one holds a unique lesson that can help you awaken to a new perspective, break free from self-imposed limits, and live a more fulfilling life. So, grab a cup of tea, find a comfortable spot, and let's journey back in time to uncover the wisdom that can change your life today. Our first story is about the great philosopher Socrates and what's known as the triple filter test. One day, an acquaintance ran up to Socrates, bursting with excitement. "Socrates, do you know what I just heard about one of your students?" he exclaimed. "Hold on a moment," Socrates replied calmly. "Before you tell me, I'd like you to pass a little test. It's called the triple filter test." The man looked confused, so Socrates explained. "The first filter is truth. Are you absolutely certain that what you are about to tell me is true?" The man thought for a moment and said, "Well, no, I actually just heard it from someone else." "All right," said Socrates. "So, you don't really know if it's true or not. Now let's try the second filter, the filter of goodness. Is what you are about to tell me about my student something good?" The man hesitated. "No, on the contrary, double quotes so." Socrates continued, "You want to tell me something bad about him, even though you're not certain it's true." The man shrugged, a little embarrassed. Socrates pressed on. "There's one filter left, the filter of usefulness. Is what you want to tell me about my student going to be useful to me?" "No, not really," the man admitted. "Well then," concluded Socrates, "if what you want to tell me is neither true, nor good, nor even useful, why tell it to me at all?" This story is a powerful reminder in our age of social media and constant gossip. How much of the information we consume and share passes this test? Before you speak, before you post, before you forward that message, ask yourself, is it true? Is it good? Is it useful? By applying this simple filter, we can protect our own peace of mind and contribute to a more positive and less cluttered world. We stop being passive receptacles of noise and become conscious curators of our conversations and our own mental space. Next, let's journey to ancient China and hear a story from the Taoist sage, Zhuangzi. There was a farmer who had only one horse. One day, the horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him. "What terrible luck," they said. The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." A week later, the horse returned, and it brought with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors gathered again, this time to congratulate him. "What wonderful luck," they exclaimed. The farmer calmly said, "Maybe." The following day, the farmer's son was trying to tame one of the wild horses when he was thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbors came over once more. "Oh, what a disaster! Such bad luck," they lamented. Again, the farmer just said, "Maybe." A few weeks passed, and the emperor's army came to the village, conscripting all the able-bodied young men for a brutal war. Because the farmer's son had a broken leg, he was the only young man in the village who was spared. The neighbors looked at the farmer in awe. "You were right all along. What incredible good fortune." But you can guess what the farmer said. "Maybe." This story beautifully illustrates the Taoist concept of letting go of rigid judgments. We are so quick to label events as good or bad, but the truth is, we rarely see the whole picture. What seems like a setback today might be the very thing that opens the door to a greater opportunity tomorrow. And what looks like a victory might lead to unforeseen challenges. The farmer's wisdom lies in his acceptance of uncertainty. He doesn't get swept away by the highs or crushed by the lows. He remains centered, observing life as it unfolds. This teaches us to embrace the maybe. It invites us to be more patient, to trust the process, and to find peace not in controlling outcomes, but in accepting the natural, unpredictable flow of life. Our third story comes from the Stoic philosopher, Epictetus, who was born a slave and rose to become one of the most respected teachers of his time. His philosophy is packed into a simple, powerful idea. He taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine two archers. Both are aiming at the same target. They both have excellent bows, perfect arrows, and have trained for years. The first archer pulls back his bow, takes a deep breath, and focuses solely on the process, his stance, his grip, his breathing, the smooth release of the arrow. The second archer does the same, but his mind is racing. What if I miss? What if the wind picks up? What will people think of me? The arrow leaves the bow. At that exact moment, a sudden gust of wind pushes both arrows off course. Both archers miss the target. The first archer, who focused on his actions, simply observes the result, retrieves his arrow, and prepares to shoot again, learning from the experience. The second archer is devastated. He blames the wind, his bow, his luck. He's angry and frustrated, his focus completely shattered. Epictetus would say the wind isn't external, it's outside of our control. The only things truly within our control are our own thoughts, judgments, and actions, the internals. The first archer understood this. He did his part perfectly and accepted the outcome without emotional turmoil. The second archer attached his happiness to an external hitting the target, and so he suffered when that external didn't go his way. This teaching is liberating. Traffic jams, criticism from others, a sudden rainstorm, these are all externals. We can't control them, but we can always control our response. We can choose to be patient in traffic, to consider criticism constructively, to enjoy the sound of the rain. By focusing on our internal world, on our own character and responses, we build an inner fortress that cannot be shaken by the unpredictable events of life. That is the source of true freedom and resilience. For our final story, we turn to the allegory of Plato's cave. Imagine a group of people who have lived their entire lives chained inside a dark cave. They are forced to face a blank wall. Behind them, a fire burns, and puppeteers walk back and forth, holding up objects so that their shadows are cast on the wall in front of the prisoners. For these prisoners, the shadows are their entire reality. They give the shadows names. They talk about them. They believe them to be the real world. Now, imagine one prisoner is freed. He is forced to turn around and see the fire and the puppets for the first time. The light hurts his eyes, and he is confused. The objects themselves seem less real to him than the shadows he has known his whole life. He is then dragged out of the cave and into the sunlight. The brightness is blinding and painful. But, as his eyes slowly adjust, he begins to see the world for what it truly is. Trees, the sky, the sun. He sees the source of all light and life. He now understands that the shadows in the cave were just faint imitations of reality. Overjoyed by this discovery, he decides to go back into the cave to free his fellow prisoners. But when he returns, his eyes, now accustomed to the sun, can't see well in the darkness. He stumbles and seems foolish to the others. When he tries to explain the world outside, they don't believe him. They think the journey has made him crazy. They laugh at him and, fearing the world outside, they refuse to be freed. This powerful allegory represents the journey of philosophical awakening. The cave is our everyday world of unquestioned beliefs, social conventions, and superficial opinions, the shadows we mistake for reality. The free prisoner is the philosopher, the seeker of truth, who dares to question everything and journey towards a deeper understanding. The painful journey out of the cave represents the difficulty of learning and challenging our own deeply held assumptions. Plato is telling us that true knowledge requires effort and courage. It can be uncomfortable to question what we've always been told, but the reward is immense, a genuine understanding of ourselves and the world. It's a call to break our own chains, to step out of the cave of our comfortable illusions, and to seek the light of truth for ourselves, even if others don't understand. So there we have it. For stories, for timeless lessons. From Socrates, we learn to filter our words and thoughts through truth, goodness, and utility. From Zhuangzi, we learn to embrace uncertainty and let go of rigid judgments. From Epictetus, we learn to focus only on what we can control, our own reactions. And from Plato, we are challenged to question our reality and seek a deeper truth. These aren't just intellectual exercises. They are practical guides to a better life. Start small. The next time you hear a piece of gossip, think of Socrates. The next time something doesn't go your way, remember the farmer. The next time you feel frustrated by something you can't control, channel Epictetus. And every day, ask yourself if you're living in a cave of your own making. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. I hope these stories have given you some food for thought and a little inspiration. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future explorations into wisdom. I'd love to hear which story resonated with you the most in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep seeking the light.